Alright, so after a day of these legs being glued up in clamps together, with them still in the clamps, I recommend you get a scraper, scrape off all the glue boogers just like you do for our tops, or anytime we're gluing up. Generally we're going to want to scrape the glue boogers. So imagine booger from your nose, okay, that's kind of what these become. That's all we're doing. We're not going to spend all hour trying to get all of the glue off of these legs, okay? We've got a much better tool to do that. This is just going to help avoid any kind of rock with where we're going next, okay? So unloosen the clamps, take out your legs. You only need to do that on one side. If you do this on two sides, you're doing more work than you actually need to. Oh no, I know I didn't glue these together. If this happens to you and you can't break them apart and you know there's no glue in them, we use this special scientific method for pulling boards apart. It's called gravity. Now one simple drop should be enough to pull apart all of those legs. Okay, no science, no magic, no trick photography here. All right, if there truly is no glue between them, that's all it's needed. That's why it's important to have closed-toed shoes on, and do so when there's no one around as well. Okay? Next step is going to be the joiner. After we have scraped off all the glue boogers of our glued up legs, we're going to come to either of these jointers right here. What we're going to do is we're going to joint one edge of one leg, of all of our legs, on one edge, just one edge, on the jointer. You'll notice that my board is shorter than the fence is tall, so I'm going to need my two push sticks. Okay? The opposite thing here, the important thing, is that this face is tight up against the fence. That's going to ensure the knives underneath here are going to give us a 90-degree corner right here. If there's any kind of rock or wiggle to it, and it doesn't give us a 90-degree corner right here, it's going to be problems when we go to assemble this in the future, okay? I do not need to have scraped off these glue boogers, all right? So we're going to joint the edge that you have scraped off, okay? It looks like this. Do we see the difference here? All right, I have got one square edge. It actually looks very similar to the face of this board right here, okay? On that one squared edge that I have, I'm gonna write the letter F, okay? That's not the grade that you're gonna get in this class. If you made it this far, you're pretty close to having this thing standing up. This is gonna remind us that this face goes on the fence at the next step, which is the table saw. Do this to all four of your legs. You do not need to do both edges. One edge will work because that one edge is important to keep square against the fence on our table saw. See you there next. All right, this next step is a really good one to do with a partner or two. Okay, if you read on your plans, the fence for the legs is going to be set up at 1 1/2 of an inch. So I'm going to set my fence at 1 1/2. Close it down tight. Okay, if you remember, this is the point where any lower I would take the guard off. Since it is only 1 1/2, I'm good to keep the guard on. I do need to take note though that my push stick is going to barely fit through here. So I'm keeping that in mind as I'm driving this through. I don't want you to skin your knuckles, and so what I kind of do is I give this a slight angle as I'm pushing through the saw, but it's important that I finish off the back of the machine, okay? Remember that F that we drew on there? Okay, F for fence, F for face, whatever you want to think about it. We're going to see this ugly goop just get cut away, all right? Some notes on cutting this long stop, okay? These will kick back at you hard, and this big piece coming at you is not going to be pleasant, okay? I've got my blade height set. I've got my fence set. okay? I'm not actually gonna start with my push stick. I'm gonna wait on that until my hands come together. I'll explain this as best I can, but really the best thing is for you to just watch me, okay? My left hand is gonna be right here just like normal. Staying out of that red danger zone, but holding down tight up here. What's gonna happen if you're nervous and this left hand migrates back here, this board is gonna wanna wheelie off the edge because that tipping point is right here. If my left hand is up here, I am able to come above that and push down hard so that this board doesn't wanna jump up and down on us, okay? So I got my push stick ready to go, starting with just my hand. Watch this cut, rewind it, watch it again. This is one of the most messed up cuts on this. Cut is one of the ones that is most mistaken throughout the entire project. If you notice on that cut, I grab my push stick when my hands come together. I also took that right step in, so I'm right on the machine, able to command everything. I'm not staying back here hiding because I'm afraid of the saw. I'm commanding this machine like that. Okay, you're gonna run through and do all 4 of your legs. Your friend's 4 legs. They can get on here, it'll be the same setup for everybody. The next thing we're gonna do, here's that, those glue buggers you didn't have to scrape off. You can go on our tinder boxes. Now, there's that F, right? The other edge now looks the same. So, we want this to be a 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch square. So, you might think, okay, do I gotta reset the fence? No, I don't, because it's already set to 1.5. So all I need to do is to reset that blade height 1/4 of an inch above the wood we're cutting. Set that down and you'll see this again. Now I'm going to put either face against the fence. Just make sure that it is square. Okay, if you're unsure, the joiner is right here. Here it is again. Wait till the blade stops to grab your scrap. One thing I probably didn't mention well enough is that when I go over to grab my push stick, I am holding down very firm with this left hand thumb, okay? As I'm cutting, when I take my right hand off the wood, this left hand better be holding on tight. If you're not, it's gonna come back at you, okay? Got that push stick, finish that cut off the back of the saw. The next part is really exciting. Mr. Kurt has the best explanation on this. If you have not seen him at this point, or if there's not a volunteer in here, we've got a couple jigs to make sure that each end of these legs get cut, but use this as an opportunity to go and see him, and if not, the finished length on these legs is all 4 the same size. You only want to trim off a little bit on each end so that we don't have any glue marks showing up, and of course they're flush on the end. If done right, this thing is going to look like one piece of wood, and a non-woodworker is not going to know that you glued this up. All 4, same width, same thickness, and now same length.